Hello everyone. Dr. Kavita Sagar welcomes you all for the today's presentation. We are going to discuss today the pre-Mendelian, post-Mendelian era of with regard to the plant breeding and also contributions of Indian plant breeders. So, what is plant breeding? Plant breeding is a deliberate effort by humans to nudge nature with respect to the heredity of plants to an advantage. So, it can be understood as a science driven creative process of developing new plant varieties that goes by various names including it is sometimes called as cultivar development, it is sometimes understood as crop improvement and also seed improvements as well. So this the changes which are made in the plants will be permanent and those are will be heritable from they will be passed from generation to another generation, and the professionals who conduct this task are called plant breeders. So this effort at adjusting the status quo is instigated by a desire of humans to improve certain aspects of plants to perform new roles or enhance the existing uh, varieties. Breeding involves the creation of multi generation genetically diverse populations on which human selection is practiced to create adapted plants with the new combination of specific desirable traits. So, the selection process is also driven by biological assessments in relevant target environments, and also knowledge of genes and also genomes is very much essential for this plant breeding programs. Progress in the plant breeding is assessed based on gain, that is yield under selection, so which is a function of genetic variation, selection intensity and also time. So the result of variations in the gene, result of intensity of selection process and also the time, all these together have an impact, or all these are the three elements which play a major role in final product of this plant breeding program. So, plant breeders specialize in breeding different groups of plants. Some of the breeders they focus on field crops such as cotton, jawar, wheat, ragi, bajra, and even horticultural crops, example vegetables. Some of the breeders they emphasize on ornamentals, and some of them they show interest in improving fruit trees and forage crops, grasses, alfalfa, etc., and also some of the turf species. More importantly, breeders tend to focus on specific species in these groups. So, this way they develop the expertise that enable them to be most effective in improving the species of their choice. So, plant breeding is a purposeful manipulation of qualities in plants to create a new varieties with a set of desired characteristics. So, goals of plant breeding. The plant breeder uses various technologies and methodologies to achieve targeted and directional changes in the nature of the plants. So, as the science and technology advance, new tools are developed while old ones are refined for use by the breeders. So, before initiating a breeding project, clear breeding objectives are defined based on the factors such as producer needs, need of the producer, preferences of the consumers and also needs of the consumer, and environmental factors. All these three factors are kept in mind and the objectives of the breeding program are made clear. So breeders aim to make up the crop producers job easier and more effective in various ways. The breeders may modify plant structure so it can resist lodging and thereby facilitate mechanical harvesting. And breeders may also develop plants that resist pests so the farmer does not have to apply pesticide or can apply smaller amounts if required. Um to control the pests. So not applying pesticides in crop production means less environmental pollution from agricultural sources. And breeders may also develop high yielding varieties, or they are some called as cultivars also. So uh, they may develop the high yielding varieties, so the farmer can produce more for the market to meet consumer demands while improving the consumer's income. Here the term cultivar is reversed for variants. It is different from variants and deliberately created by the plant breeders, and will be introduced more formally later in the uh, coming presentations. So it will be the term of choice this book. When so with this brief information, the aims and objectives or the goal of plant breeding mainly are, first thing is improvement of the crop, and also to give improved agronomic characters, and also to provide the plants which are resistant to biotic and abiotic stresses. So these plant breeding programs will give several different improved characteristics to the crop, which can be understood under the headings like increased yield. So this increased yield is achieved by developing more efficient genotypes, identification and utilization of male sterility. So another thing, the quality is improved in the crops. Example, rice, milling, cooking quality, aroma and grain color can be achieved in rice, whereas in wheat, milling and baking quality and gluten content can be enhanced. In pulses, protein content and sulfur, improving sulfur containing amino acids can be achieved by this plant breeding programs. And in oil seeds, PUFA content can be checked or improved by going for plant breeding programs. And also some of the toxic substances can be eliminated. Example, hydrogen cyanide content in java plants, and latherogen content in Lathyrus sativus, uric acid in brassicas, and cucurbitacin in cucurbits. So these are all toxins which were present in all this pulses and the cereals and crops. So by this plant breeding program, these toxic substances can be eliminated. And also we can develop stress resistant varieties which can be resistant for biotic and abiotic stresses. So what are those biotic and abiotic stresses? I have also already discussed in my earlier videos. And also we can bring out a change in the maturity duration of the crop plants. So the duration, maturity duration can be changed or reduced or shortened by this plant breeding the techniques. So that is evolution of early maturing varieties can be brought out. And also improved agronomic characters like in most of the crop plants like rice, bajra are the successful stories here to be understood. And by reducing the plant height in order to prevent lodging, the plant height can be reduced by this plant breeding. Examples are in rice, and the height of the rice plant has been successfully reduced by this plant breeding programs. And some of the crops are insensitive to light, so this photo insensitivity can be eliminated to some extent in some of the pulses like red gram, and also in cereals like sorghum. And non-shattering nature are achieved, can be achieved in green gram, and also some of the crop species in brassicas. And synchronized maturity is achieved in some of the pulses as well. Through this plant breeding program, determinate growth habit can be achieved. That is, in pulses, determinate growth habit can be 100% achieved. And also finally, introduction of dormancy. Some of the species we know that crop species they undergo dormancy for a long period when there are unfavorable conditions. So this dormancy or the introduction of the dormancy can be eliminated, and this has been successfully achieved in groundnut. So by keeping all these things in the mind, the advantages or the goals and aims of this plant breeding, let us have a look into the pre-Mendelian era in plant breeding programs. So, uh, when we have a look into a history of plant breeding in its primitive form started after the invention of agriculture in India, or throughout in at the global level. So when people of primitive cultures switched from the lifestyle of hunter gatherers to sedentary producers of selected plants and animals, views of agricultural origin range from the mythological to ecological things. So, this lifestyle change did not occur overnight, but it was a gradual process during which plants were transformed from being independent wild progenitors to fully dependent and domesticated varieties. So, basically, agriculture is generally viewed as an invention and discovery when we have a look into history of the plant breeding. So during this process period, humans also discovered the time honored and most basic plant breeding technique, that is selection. So selection is nothing but the art of discriminating, separating among biological variations in a population in order to identify and pick desirable variants. So selection also implies the existence of variability. So, in the beginning of the plant breeding, the variability exploited were the naturally occurring variants and wild relatives of crop species. Furthermore, selection was based solely on the intuition, skill, and judgment of the breeder or the operator. Okay. However, it is very difficult to identify the true beginning of the modern plant breeding. Moreover, certain early observations by certain individuals helped to lay the foundation for the discovery of modern principles of plant breeding. So, it has been seen that archaeological records indicate that Assyrians and Babylonians artificially pollinated date palm in at least 700 BC. Uh, R.J. Camerarius of Germany is credited with first reporting sexual reproduction in plants in 1694. But in 9000 BC, as I already told, um, we can have the first evidence of plant domestication in the hills of Tigris River, and in 3000 BC, there is a record of domestication of all important food crops in the old world was completed. So, in the 1000 BC, there was a domestication of all important food crops in the new world, which was already completed. And as I already told, in 700 BC, Babylonians and the Assyrians they had pollinated date palm artificially. In 1665, Robert Hooke he first described the cell. So once after the description or discovery of the cell, or description of the cell by Robert Hooke, the scientists or the practitioners they got the idea of what are the contents of the cell and whether this cell can be modified, or whether the cell can be mixed up with another species or another variety of crops. So this was the crazy idea or the basic raw idea which people got after the discovery of this cell by Robert Hooke in 1665. So, through the experimentation in 1964, R.J. Camerarius, he discovered that pollen from male flowers was indispensable to fertilization and seed development on female plants. So his works was conducted on monoecious plants, that is both sexes occur on separate plants of the plant. Example, maize. Maize is a monoecious plant. So, however, it was Joseph Kohlreuter who conducted the first known systematic investigation into plant hybridization. That is called crossing of genetically dissimilar parents of a number of species between 1760 to 1766. Uh, in 1560, okay, in 1800s to 1835, Knight TA first used artificially hybridization in fruit crops, and in 1819 Shiref he utilized for the first time pure line selection. Pure line selection we have already discussed in my earlier videos. So he utilized the pure line selection to develop a new oat cultivar which was released in 1824, and he also developed a new wheat cultivar which was released in 1832. In 1823, Knight uh, uh, came out with the dominance, recessiveness, and also segregation, and all these characters were observed in peas for the first time. In 1884, John Lee Cotter he developed the concept of progeny test and individual plant selection as well. In 1840 to 50, D. Vilmorin did progeny test in wheat, oat, and sugar beet breeding. 1856 again, Vilmorin further elaborated the concept of progeny test and used same test in sugar beet. Yeah, in 1859 to 1889, Charles Darwin. So he published a book, Origin of Species, and also he noted or observed inbreeding sterility and differences in reciprocal crosses. So 1866, Mendel G published his discoveries in experiments in plant hybridization in his book, accumulating in the formulation of laws of inheritance in garden pea and also discovery of unit factors. Those are were called as genes. And for the first time in 1873, the work of Patrick Sherriff first published, and he concluded that the only variation heritable nature responded to selections and that their variation arose through natural sports. Those are called mutation. So this mutation are the only changes which only changes or the variations which are heritable and by natural hybridization, that is called recombination during meiosis in the hybrids so produced. Patrick Sherriff was the first to publish that mutation occurs and mutation is the heritable character, that is called as by natural sports. And Rimfu in 1890 for the first time made inheritance cross between bread wheat and rye, which later on gave birth to triticale. So So we should remember the contribution of Thomas Fairchild in 1717. He conducted an introspecific cross, that is a cross between two species, between Sweet William and that is Dianthus barbatus and Dianthus caryophyllus, in order to obtain what become as known as Fairchild's Sweet William. So, another account describes an observation in 1716 by an American, Cotton Mather, to affect that ears from yellow corn grown next to blue or red corn had a blue and red kernels in them. So, this suggested the occurrence of natural cross pollination. And of course, maize is one of the crops that has received extensive breeding and genetic attention to the scientific community. So, till 1846, Robert Reed of Illinois was recognized with developing what became known as Reed's yellow dent. Reed's yellow dent. So, this was the landmark work by Swedish botanist Carolus Linnaeus, which culminated in the binomial system of classification of plants, is invaluable to modern plant breeding. So, again in 1727, Louis Levick de Vilmorin of the Vilmorin family of seed growers founded that the Vilmorin Breeding Institute in France was the first institution dedicated to plant breeding and the production of new cultivars. Another still commonly used breeding technique is progeny test, that is growing the progeny of a cross for the purpose of evaluating the genotype of the parent. So, this progeny test was first used to evaluate the breeding value of a single plant. Yeah, in 1900s, De Vries rediscovered Mendel laws of inheritance independently, and in 1900, in the same year, Nilsson, a Swedish plant breeder, elaborated individual plant selection method. So, in 1903, Johansen proposed the pure line theory that provided the genetic basis of individual plant selection, and also coined the terms genotype, phenotype, and pure line. In 1908 to 1909, Hardy of England and Weinberg of Germany developed the law of equilibrium of populations. 1908, Davenport first proposed the dominance of hypothesis of heterosis. In 1908, Shell East EM in US, they proposed over dominance hypothesis independently working with the maize, and in 1909, Nelson and Shell, they conducted extensive research on developing inbreds to produce hybrids, use of F1 hybrids between inbreds in corn breeding, and also they proposed multiple factor hypothesis for green color in wheat by using a pedigree method and a bulk method. And Shell in 1914, he used for the first time the term heterosis for hybrid vigor. In 1917, Jones developed for the first time commercial hybrid maize and proposed dominance of linked gene hypothesis. So, 1919, Hayes, Garber and Gave They gave the initial idea about recurrent selection, and they first suggested the use of synthetic varieties for commercial cultivation of maize. Post Mendelian era, that is plant breeding in the present. Post Mendelian era, we can see that modern plant breeding depends upon the principles of genetics, the science of heredity, to which Gregor Mendel made some of its foundational contributions. So, Mendel in his original work on the garden pea mentioned that how two factors for specific traits are transmitted from parents to offspring and through subsequent generations. And of course, his work was rediscovered in 1900s. Rediscovered in 1900s. So, in 1923, the Sachs, he discovered the linkage between quantitative and qualitative traits in beans, and East Mangelsdorff in 1926, they were the first to discover gametophytic system of self-incompatibility in Nicotiana sandarinae. Followed by 1926, Pioneer and Vavilov, they identified the inbred corn company which was established as the first seed company in the world. And Vavilov identified 8 main centers and 3 sub centers of crop diversity, and he also developed concept of parallel series of variation or law of homologous series of variation. Muller in 1927 produced mutations in fruit flies using X-rays, and in the same year Carpenchico developed first intergeneric hybrid between radish and cabbage in Russia, and in 28 Stadler was the first person who used X-rays for induction of mutations in barley. So, one of the earliest application of genetics to plant breeding was made by Danish botanist Wilhelm Johansen. So, in 1903, Johansen developed the pure line theory while working on the garden bean. So, his work confirmed an earlier observation by the others that technique of selections could be used to produce uniform true breeding cultivars by selecting from the progeny of single self pollinated crops. So, again the mutagenesis is another term that is called mutagenesis, nothing but the induction of mutations using mutagenic agents, that is called mutagenic agents are nothing but mutations. So, mutagenesis such as radiation or became a technique for plant breeding in 1920s, when researchers discovered that exposing plants to X-rays increased the variation in plants. And mutation breeding accelerated after World War II when scientists included nuclear particles such as alpha, protons and gamma as mutagens for inducing mutations in organisms. Even though very unpredictable in outcome, mutagenesis has been successfully used to develop numerous mutant varieties. And in 1944, DNA was discovered to be the genetic material. So, scientists then began to understand the molecular basis of heredity. New tools, in other terms we can call understand molecular tools, are being developed to facilitate plant breeding. Currently, scientists are able to circumvent the sexual process in transfer genes from one parent to another. In 1933, Rhodes for the first time discovered cytoplasmic male sterility in maize, and in the 34, Dustin discovered the colchicines. Nagahan in 1935, he proposed the origin of tetraploid species of Brassica using a triangle, and East in 1936 supported over the dominance of hypothesis of heterosis proposed by East and Shell in 1908. And Vavilov again published the scientific basis of plant breeding. In 1938, Golden first suggested the use of single seed descent method for advancing segregating generations of self-pollinating crops, and 1940 Jenkins described the procedure of recurrent selection, which we have already discussed in my earlier videos. In 1944, Avery, MacLeod and McCarthy, they described the transforming principle and suggested that DNA, not protein, is the hereditary material. And in the subsequent year, in 45, Hull coined the term recurrent selection and overdominance when he was working with the maize. Yes, the most important contribution of McClintock, the Nobel Prize winner, in the year 1950 discovered the ACDS system of transmosible elements, and Hughes and Babcock in the same year they first discovered sporophytic system of self incompatibility in Crapis foetida plant crop. And the modern era, as already told, several achievements were done with the discovery of genes, heterosis, genetics, genetic engineering, etc. So, Jensen in 1952 first suggested the use of multi-lines in oats, and Borlaug 1953 was the first person who outlined the method of developing multi-lines in wheat. Watson, Crick and Wilkins in 1953 they proposed a model for double helical DNA structure. In 1956, Flohr he proposed gene-to-gene hypothesis for host parasite resistance, and also in 1668 Donald he developed the concept of crop idiotype in wheat. Borlaughieni in 1964 developed high-yielding semi-dwarf varieties of wheat, which resulted in a green revolution. And in 1965, Graphius first applied single seed descent, that is SST method in oats. And these are again few developments in the modern era of plant breeding, that is post Mendelian era. So now 1976 Longping and others they developed world's first rice hybrid CMS based for commercial cultivation in China, and we should not remember that in 1970 Borlaug NH received a Nobel Prize for green revolution, and the world's first cotton hybrid for commercial cultivation in India was developed by Patel in the year 1970. And Berg, Cohen and Boyer introduced the recombinant DNA technology in the year 1970, and the first transgenic plant tobacco in USA was developed by Fraley and others in 1983. The Monsanto in 1987 developed world's transgenic cotton plant in USA, and Icrusat which was developed first world's pigeon pea hybrid in 1991 for the commercial cultivation in India. So another important and the most recognizable contribution is flavor saver development of flavor saver tomato, which was developed in 1994. This is the first genetically modified food produced for the market by Calgene Company of California. And BT cotton is one of the most recognizable contribution, which is still popular, which was introduced in 1995. And in 1996 glyphosate resistant crop soybean was introduced. And Monsanto again in 1997 they first identified terminator gene. This allows germination of seed for one generation only. And this here in this photograph we can see the first genetically engineered crop. So this is a flavor saver tomato. Okay, so you can see here, you can see here here no Allen gene is used. And this is a modified functioning of existing gene. So due to genetic engineering technology, antisense RNA technology also, by using both these things flavor saver tomato was developed. So in 2001 PPVFRA, that is Plant Varieties and Farmers Rights Acts was protected. And in 2002 Mexico Monsanto released 3 BT hybrids. 2004 glyphosate resistant crop wheat was developed. And 2005 Government of India cultivated some of the BT cotton hybrids in Punjab, Haryana and Rajasthan. Let us quickly understand the present scenario, Indian scenario of plant breeding. Which are those inventions or the discoveries in plant breeding field in India. So we have to start with 1871. It was for the first time the Government of India created the Department of Agriculture. So in 1892 the first scientist was appointed in the department and he was a agricultural chemist. In 1903 to 05 01 to 05 several agricultural colleges were established at Kanpur, Pune, Sabor, Coimbatore, Lalpur. And in 1905 the Imperial Agricultural Research Institute, that is IARI, was established in Pusa, Bihar. 1934 the buildings of institute damaged due to earthquake, and this again building was shifted to New Delhi in 1936. And in 1946 after 10 years this name was changed as Indian Agricultural Research Institute. Imperial Agricultural Research Institute was renamed as Indian Agricultural Research Institute, that is IARI, in the year 1946. In 1946 again I told it was changed into IARI. And but in 1921 Indian Central Cotton Committee was established, notable researchers on breeding and cultivation of cotton. Example, in cotton 70 improved varieties of cotton were developed during 1920s. In 1929 Imperial Council of Agricultural Research was established in New Delhi. Later on in 1946 it was renamed as IARI. In 1956, the project for intensification of regional research on cotton, oilseeds and millets, PIRCOM, PIRRCOM, that is Project for Intensification of Regional Research on Cotton, Oilseeds and Millets, was initiated in order to intensify research on these crops, which were located at 17 different centers throughout the country. In 1957, A project with all India coordinated maize improvement was started with the objective of exploiting heterosis. And in 1960, first agriculture university was established at Pantnagar, Nainital, UP. And in 61, the first hybrid maize varieties was released by the project ICAR, initiated in Indian Council of Agricultural Research, which was this initiated a coordinated projects for improvement of the other crops as well. In 1961, first maize hybrid was released. Example to mention Ganga 1, Ganga 101, Deccan and Ranjit. And in 1964, first sorghum hybrid was released. In 1965, first Bajra hybrid. And in 71, one of the pioneer center of research in India, that is Tamil Nadu Agriculture University, was established. In 1991, the first pigeon pea was released from ICRISAT. From Hyderabad. And these are the pioneer Indian scientists, Indian plant breeders, whose contributions are noteworthy, and these strong foundations laid a strong foundations in India in the field of plant breeding programs. And the first person to remember here is scientist is T.S. Venkataraman. He was a pioneer Indian plant breeder for sugarcane improvement and also first director of Sugarcane Breeding Institute, Coimbatore. Dr. Venkataraman has developed many varieties through transferring thick and high sugar contents from tropical novel cane to Indian North Indian canes. So this process is famous as nobilization of sugar cane. So whenever you hear the term nobilization of sugar cane, and the first person comes to our mind is Dr. T.S. Venkataraman. Another plant breeder of India is Rao Bahadur Dr. Ram Dhan Singh Huda. So he was the plant breeder of wheat. He developed famous variety of wheat in named as C591. So in Punjab, which made Punjab as a granary of India. So due to this wheat variety recorded unprecedented growth in wheat production. And Dr. Rao also developed improved varieties of rice, barley and pulses as well, and this development has changed the entire face of north and central provinces of India. Another plant breeder is Dr. B.P. Pal was the first director of ICAR, during which first green revolution was launched, and which had outstanding success. And Dr. Pal was one of the famous scientists in wheat crop, and he released variety NP809 of crop, and this wheat variety was resistant to stem, leaf and strip rusts. Notable plant breeder in India is M.S. Swaminathan. And of course, M.S. Swaminathan sir is known as the father of Green Revolution of India. He is a pioneer mutation plant breeder, and he produced Sharbati Sonara wheat variety. That Sharbati Sonara is responsible for first Green Revolution. He was also the director of ICAR and of course the foundation of M.S. Swaminathan Foundation, founder of M.S. Swaminathan Foundation. Other plant breeders of India, we should noteworthy to mention here is N.G.P. Rao was an eminent sorghum breeder. He developed world's first hybrid of sorghum named as variety CSH1. And K. Ramaya, and of course a rice breeder, a renowned rice breeder of India, developed several high yielding varieties